Hello, friends. I know I'm coming in at the last possible minute for UFC Atlanta, but don't worry. We're here. We're here. This card actually might be a little bit spooky. There's large discrepancy between the betting odds. Like, there's huge underdogs, huge favorites on this card, a little bit more than usual. We'll get into all that shit. First off, rip. Early prelim opener of Vanessa Demopoulos versus Jamie Lynn Horth. Jamie Lynn Horth is essentially, these picks are also going to be super quick, by the way, barely an intro, even though I just cut the picks to make an intro. Jamie Lynn Horth, dog shitty, low-key dog shitty. I think she got a robbery win when she did get that win back in Canada. Maybe Miranda Maverick smoked her in Canada, I don't remember particularly. What I do remember, Jamie Lynn Horth is dog shit, absolutely dog shit. I get triggered just reading her name. Vanessa Demopoulos is not the best per se, but maybe has a submission in her back pocket possibly. The real thing is Jamie Lynn Horth is dog shit. Jamie Lynn Horth is also way bigger than Vanessa Demopoulos, but I honestly don't think it's going to matter. I'm really kind of just pissing in the wind with this one. Okay, moving on nice and quick. Phil Rowe versus Ange Loosa. Ange Loosa is pretty middy. He's going to try to grind this one out, I think. What I'm praying for is that Phil Rowe, using his size, actually, he also has a big size advantage in this fight, is going to be able to fucking snipe Ange Loosa. Going to be able to hurt him. Ideally, we'll save that for the end. But I'm going with Phil Rowe here. I'm going with the striking of Phil Rowe, hoping that Phil Rowe will be able to stay on the feet, at least be able to get a little bit of distance. Maybe even if it's like a super clinch, cagey fight, that still does remain on the feet. I do think Phil Rowe will be able to put in a little bit of work. Man's been on a bit of a skid, but I think he's going to turn it around in this one, Phil Rowe. Moving on. Ricky Simon versus Cameron Smotherman. Young Cameron Smotherman. Young-looking Cameron Smotherman, going by the name of the baby-faced assassin. The more I think about this fight, actually, the less confident I am in Ricky. I just think some spooky shit's going to happen. Cameron Smotherman might fake finish him. Even though Ricky Simon just caught a body, smoked this man, Javid Basharat, not too long ago, I want to say, to end his own losing streak. I'm still going to stick with Ricky, though, I think. I think Ricky will get this one done. For a while there, it was looking like Ricky was on the downswing, honestly. But Cameron Smotherman, in opposite fashion, that was a dude who looked like he was about to be on the up and up, but then kind of got stopped in his tracks a little bit, had some trouble. I think this is going to be a very interesting fight, actually, for both dudes. I'm going to stick with Ricky. Moving on. Nice and quick. I'm trying to keep this one around 10 minutes. Cody Durden versus Jose Ochoa. Jose Ochoa, my Peruvian brother. This might be a slightly emotional pick because I honestly think that Cody Durden is a lot more talented than people give him credit for. He gets caught, and when he gets caught, he usually gets caught badly. Talking about Cody Durden. Case in point, his recent Bruno Silva performance. Jose Ochoa, on the other hand, though, actually had an extremely fucking impressive debut against a dude who people were scared of. People thought this, or not to say he's not going to be a problem in the future, but against Lanier Kavanagh, I believe was how you pronounced his name. That dude was a touted prospect coming from the UK, I believe, across the pond. Somewhere over there, Jose Ochoa put in work, man, cut him open, busted him up, put in massive work. Massive work. It's going to be interesting to see if how Jose Ochoa can hang with the wrestling of Cody Durden, because I think Jose Ochoa will be the better striker here. Cody Durden is not like dog shit, again. Don't want to get too much into this one, but I'm going to go with Jose Ochoa. But Cody Durden is still spooky, man, honestly. If it was like, this is silly, if it was, anyways, moving on. Malcolm Wallmaker versus Chris Moutinho. Chris Moutinho, we meet again. Many of you may be familiar with Chris Moutinho. Chris Moutinho was the green-haired dude that got sacrificed to Sean O'Malley. Sean smoked him. I won't say there was, like, controversy. Maybe there was a teensy-weensy bit of controversy, because if I remember the fight exactly and correctly, Herb Dean called the fight with like less than 30 seconds to go, maybe even less than 20 seconds to go, but Sean was literally like mid-combo, like already got like 7 or 8 shots off on him. Like, it was spooky. He was beating the shit out of Chris Moutinho. He beat the shit out of Chris Moutinho the entire time. Since then, Chris Moutinho has actually won. He's put together a string of wins, actually. String of wins, with the majority of them being finishes, if I'm not mistaken. If not all finishes, actually. Granted, this is outside the UFC and occasionally against losing opponents, but Still work, man. Dude's tough as shit. He just takes massive fucking damage. We'll have to see how much he improved. He's going up against a very spooky dude in Malcolm Wellmaker, who's extremely fucking powerful, riding not only a win streak, but a finish streak, and I think he's going to look to keep that going, and he will keep it going. I'm going with Wellmaker in this one, though. Not though, because literally the sentence before that would lead you to believe the same thing. I'm going with Malcolm Wellmaker. Chris Matinho, man. I think the question is, like, does Chris Matinho get finished? And I mean no disrespect by that. We'll come back to that, though. Moving on. Michael Chiesa versus Court McGee. I've actually went a little bit back and forth on this one because I think Court McGee maybe is, like, can survive against Chiesa a little bit on the ground. I don't know, though. I'm still going with Michael Chiesa. Keep this one kind of short and sweet. Older dudes. Both guys are older men. Michael Chiesa actually the younger of the two. Maybe there's something to say about Michael Chiesa having a foot out the door already, but who knows. I am going to go with Michael Chiesa. I kind of think that's the safer option as well. Even though Court McGee can still fight, still dangerous. He got a finish in his last fight. Granted, it was against an old Tim Means, but it doesn't matter. Moving on. Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Bellato, man. Rodolfo Bellato, ups and downs in this man's career. Paul Craig, too. I'm going with Rodolfo Bellato. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. I was going to go into Rodolfo Bellato versus Ihor Peteria, some of the backstories of these fighters. But Paul Craig, honestly, we know Paul Craig, very skilled submission artist, but very chinny, questionable striking all around. Rodolfo Bellato is actually kind of a lot more well-balanced in that regard. And I think the striking is going to ultimately decide this one. I think Bellato is going to kind of be very aggressive opening up, get it done early. I'm going with Rodolfo Bellato. And as long as Rodolfo doesn't tweak and lose his mind, he shouldn't be caught in a sub by Paul Craig. Moving on, I'm going with a tweaky pick. Again, might be a little emotional. Atomic Alonzo Menifield versus Omar Sy. Ah, shit. Omar Sy... Intimidating. But here's the thing, though. And intimidating in both skill set, highlight reel somewhat, and size, physical stature. But this is like Alonzo's shit, though. Alonzo's been here before. He wins fights like these, actually. Or at least he used to. Father Time is cruel, but this is like Alonzo's fight to me, kind of, actually. I really have to see how Sy takes shots from Alonzo, heavy power shots from Alonzo. I think Alonzo can definitely catch him, even early on, maybe even second round, and still put Omar Sy away. We've seen Alonzo do that to people who like, the consensus opinion is that they are better, whoever it may be, Dustin Jacoby, etc. They're better than Alonzo Menifield, technically speaking, in striking, and yet they get caught by him brutally. Moving on. I'm going with Alonzo Menifield. That was an Alonzo Menifield pick. Big underdog there, actually, in Alonzo Menifield. Moving on. Cody Brundage versus Mansour Abdul Malik. Again, actually, I really wanted to pick Cody Brundage as a spooky underdog because I actually think maybe Cody Brundage can give Mansour enough trouble to survive, like, and go the distance even, possibly. I might sound crazy, and, like, what we watch in, like, a couple hours might be so fucking far from that. It's not even funny, in which case you can come back here and laugh at me. But either way, bit of an odd duck, Cody Brundage. Strange things seem to happen when the man fights. Mansour Abdul Malik is probably looking to get this one done very quick. Man is a young prospect. I think he's a little rough around the edges personally, but we'll see. And he is expected to win this one. He's expected to smoke Cody Brundage. Moving on. Another Cody. Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt, crazy, man. Cody Garbrandt versus Raoni Barcelos. Raoni Barcelos coming off of a career-high performance, low-key, smoking on Peyton Talbot. Which was crazy in the manner that he smoked on Peyton Talbot. As Peyton Talbot was on quite a run before that. I think there's a decent chance that we see more of the same. This is, again, low-key, a bit of an emotional pick, even, possibly. We might see more of the same from Raoni. Raoni out-grapples Cody. Maybe even gets a submission, actually. Possibly even finishes Cody in the second or third round. But I think I'm going to just rock with this man, Cody Garbrandt. One last time. One last fucking time, man. One last fucking time. Use that information. Do what you will with it. Moving on, the featured fight of the night. Edmen Shahbazyan, versus Andre Petroski. Bit of an El Clasico matchup. What I mean by that is grappler, or striker versus grappler in this case. I think Edmen Shahbazyan's going to get this one done. I think he's also going to get this one done early. There's a chance that he doesn't, obviously, goes without saying. Andrei Petroski is a very skilled fighter, skilled grappler in particular, and a strong grappler. I will never trust Andrei Petroski's chin. I think Edmen can get this one done early if he does it right, you know. Very simple, short, and sweet. Moving on to the co-main event. Rose Namajunas versus Miranda Maverick. Miranda Maverick, up-and-comer, low-key has the style, I think, that might give Rose trouble, but I don't think she actually will give Rose trouble. Again, Rose, one of those fighters now, it depends on the form that she shows up in. Even though Rose isn't old, she does have a lot of, like, fight mileage on her. You know, that is true, I think. Miranda doesn't have as much of that. I think if the fight stays on the feet and stays at distance, Rose smokes her, honestly, but we'll have to see how it plays out. I got Rose Namajunas winning this fight. Calmly. And on to the main event, which is also spooky hours. Kamaru Usman versus the new Mansa, Joaquin Buckley. A lot of you may ask, what is new Mansa? What the hell is even a new Mansa? If I remember correctly, literally new Mansa, the new Mansa, is just Joaquin Buckley. It's him. It's quite literally him. But either way, I like New Mansa. It's a nice little phrase, nice little nickname. And I also like him in this fight, unfortunately. Kamaru is a legendary fighter in his own right, but what I was just talking about with mileage, you can see the fucking mileage on Kamaru a little bit, you know? Just the way he moves around outside the cage, the way he talks about it, his body, the tolls that his body has taken, you know, the physical burden, the physical brunt of all this shit, all the fighting shit. Going back to the wrestling shit. Like, it's really brute, man. Joaquin Buckley, plain and simple, doesn't have all that. And it seems to be Joaquin's time. A lot of people are saying finish, man. And the thing is, that's the crazy part. There might be a finish. Joaquin has been finishing like these older legendary fighters somewhat low-key recently. Like, does that continue? Then again, Kamaru Usman was giving fucking Khamzat work. Like, what? That was a different time. Even then was a different time, though. You have to remember that. I think I'm going to go with Joaquin Buckley, though. I'm going to recap everything super quickly. This time include the round and method of victory. Then I'm going to super quickly impose the little pictures, the Tapology pictures of all the fights. Upload that. Hopefully that gets in a little 30 minutes before the fights. And then you come back to this channel, or you stay on this channel, rather, and then you hop into the Smoky Hours live stream. We will be in the Smoky Hours live stream. It's going to get spooky. I'm going to have coffee and some food immediately after filming this, because it might be fucking sleepy hours. Remember that. It might be sleepy hours. Going back, Vanessa Demopoulos. I do think she will win by decision. I see this one going the distance, and I see her winning by decision if she wins, obviously. But again, like I said, maybe pulls out a sub from the back pocket. Chaotic sequence on the ground, or ends up with Demopoulos in a very dominant, very, very beneficial position. And she exploits that to the fullest, to a finish. I could see that happening. Phil Rowe. I got Phil Rowe winning by round 2 KO, TKO, or DQ possibly if it turns out that way. Again, I'm hoping that the range is going to be too much for Angelusa to overcome, even though he has overcome shit like that before. Round 1 might be a bit of a, not a feeling out, but just maybe needs a round to settle. And then in round 2, Angelusa gets caught. That's what we pray for. Ricky Simón could get a finish. Both guys could get a finish. This fight could go either way, as all fights can, obviously. But I'm going to say that Ricky Simón and Jose Ochoa, both of their fights go the distance, and they both win by decision. Moving on. Malcolm Wellmaker. Again, I got him with the late KO, TKO, DQ. I'm going to say round 3. That might sound crazy. I don't know how many shots Malcolm Wellmaker is actually going to land on a Chris Moutinho. Not to say Chris Moutinho is going to be avoiding them. It's just, is Malcolm Wellmaker going to throw at the same pace as Sean O'Malley? We'll have to see. What do you think? So round 3, KO, TKO. for Malcolm Wallmaker. Moving on. Michael Chiesa. A bit of a spooky one, again, because like I said, maybe Court McGee doesn't get subbed. Maybe a lot of other things happen. But I'm going to go with round 2 submission for Michael Chiesa. Moving on. Rodolfo Bellato, round 1 KO TKO. Maybe not steamroll. I don't mean that in a totally disrespectful manner, because Rodolfo Bellato isn't even really like that, per se. He is just big and strong and definitely has enough power to knock Paul Craig out. I think it will also just happen to take place in round 1. So Rodolfo Bellato, round 1 KO TKO. Moving on. Actually followed up by the same thing, because we got Alonzo Menifield next. I do think Alonzo Menifield lands that shot on Omar Sy. I think he gets in deep, just says, fuck it. Omar Sy runs out of space to back up into the cage, gets caught. That's what I'm praying happens. We've seen it happen a couple times with this man, Alonzo. Round 1, KO TKO DQ. Next, this is a little bit spooky. Well, the pick itself isn't spooky. The moneyline pick of Mensur Abdulmalik is not spooky. He's one of the biggest favorites on the card. But the decision might be spooky. I think this fight actually will go the distance. I think Cody Brundage will be able to survive. Dude does have experience, you know. He does have experience. Moving on. Cody Garbrandt. Again, an emotional pick possibly. So you might just have Raoni Barcelos already. You might even have Raoni Barcelos round 2 submission, but I got Cody Garbrandt round 2 KO TKO DQ. Take that as you will. For the featured fight, Edmund Shabazian. Again, I really think Andre Petroski might try to get this one off early by getting in deep on a hip. I don't think he's going to get knocked out by the hip this time, but I do think Edmund Shabazian will be able to get him out in round 1. The round 1 KO TKO DQ. Excuse me. Even though I was kind of going buck wild with the finishes, now that I look back on it, I do think that for the co-main event, Rose Namajunas versus Miranda Maverick, that will go the distance as well, with Rose taking it by decision. And finishing off the night with the main event of Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. See, I don't know it. But when I think about Joaquin Buckley finishing Kamaru, that just doesn't, seem right to me. I get it might be probable, but, it just doesn't seem right to me. But what I did have written down, what I did think, is the round 3 KO TKO DQ. I do think Usman for the first round, or one of the first 2 rounds, is going to look spooky in favor of Usman. Then we're going to see Joaquin come back a little bit. And then in round 3, I think it's going to be very quick. It's going to be a very quick sequence, and Joaquin gets it done. That's pretty much it. Like I said, I hope to see you in a couple hours or in a couple minutes when you see this video, or in a couple seconds when you see this video, obviously. It depends really on when you see the video. I hope to see you at the Smoky Hours live stream, Smoky Hours Fight Companion. It will be up. Fights are around 7 p.m. Eastern. So we'll be on 6:50, 6:55, 7 p.m. Eastern. You know why that took me so long. As always, subscribe if you want to see more content. Like the video if you like the video. Dislike the video if you dislike the video. Let me know your picks. Let me know the vibe. Let me know if you'll be in the stream later. Let me know anything in the comments. I love reading all comments. Thanks for watching. Much love. Big kiss.